All right. Okay. We get that. So we've been we've been briefed. Thank you, Funlola. So just a very quick recap. The two legs we're standing on today is the first one, which the Honorable Justice spoke about, wherein is how do we relate to our customer from the point of charges and some of the other relations we have to do with customer, and how do we relate with our employees who are the internal customers. The second leg of our conversation, which is really the customer experience pivot, was led by Wale Abioye, our partner at KPMG, and he led with the discussion around trust. How do we build trust with our customers? What is the import for the customer today, and how does that drive experience? And ultimately, why are we in business? How does that bring transactions? How does it drive profitability? And does it keep us in business? And we would also have a multi-industry perspective, because there's insurance, there is pensions, and then we have the consumer protection leg. Yes, ma'am. Please don't invite me next week. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would start by calling us to give our perspective for about 5 minutes each, and then we will look at some focal points that we need to address so that we bring the succinct issues forward and we all leave here more enriched than we came. So, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to start from my extreme right. Mr. Charles is representing insurance, right? Fantastic. And you know, insurance has come around a full circle of insurance that we used to know back in the days. No one was doing insurance. Life has changed. Insurance has come to town, right? Insurance is on the front burner of things. So would like to hear your perspective. Customer experience, customer arbitration. How does insurance see this? Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. Apparently, when I discussed with Mr. Rashid, I'm also wearing different caps. In as much as my CV is not here, I've worked in the bank and I've also worked in pension companies before joining insurance. Insurance is all about covering risks, all right? So you are relaxed in case if that risk should crystallize. So insurance has to do with trust. I will start with that because in the industry, we'll talk about claims, payment of claims. So if you don't, insurance is all about paying claims in as much as you have to make profit. If there is no trust, of course, insurance is not really like banking in the sense that at the end of every year, you have to renew your policy. Your policy has to be renewed. So if there is no trust, the commitments you made, you were not able to keep it, of course, the customer will not come back to you. So we talk about, when you talk about insurance, you talk about trust. The regulators does not take it easy with insurance companies that are not able to keep their promise. So starting from the brokers, the underwriters, the reinsurers, we all know that trust is the way to go. If you've written a policy and the risk at the end of the day crystallizes, of course you must be able to pay the claim. If you don't pay the claim, there are issues of arbitration. Of course, you don't want to go to court with your customer. It's a very negative thing to do. Of course, the regulators are also there to check the kind of things you are doing. Just also to let us know the kind of things I saw when I came to insurance. I was in the bank and I came to insurance. The first ESCO I attended, I saw to deliberate on payment of claims of total of close to 4 billion. I screamed, are these people smoking weed? Or what is really going on? Right? Because in the bank, we're all looking at reducing costs. How do you reduce costs? But here, you have to pay claims. The claims are staring at us and it must be paid and all that. So it was shocking to me. It's part of the experience I have, had across the industry. Insurance is all about paying of claims, and you have to develop trust within your customer space. If you don't, you are built to fail. And of course, the regulators are there to slam you as soon as you have those issues unresolved. In terms of the staff, having our staff and all that, we try across the industry. We try to promote gender equality. If you don't want to have problem in insurance, don't have problem with Pillar. We have an association in insurance called Pillar. In fact, one of my colleagues is a member of Pillar. She's here. So if we try to push gender equality, and we try to practice best global practices. In as much as we are in business to make profit, insurance is a bit, how will I put it? You don't go wearing skimpy clothes to get business in insurance. What will drive your volumes is your trust, like I've mentioned. If you are able to prove to the customer there was a claim, in fact, I also give one perspective of what happened to me when I joined. They say Igbos don't buy insurance, yeah. And we're trying to conquer the Eastern market, that's Onitsha market, So most of them don't believe that you pay something, and if there is a claim tomorrow, the insurance will indemnify you and all that. Being an Igbo man on the ESCO of Cornerstone, I was told to go to Onitsha to champion that cause. And we had to prepare checks, dummy checks. When Onitsha market caught fire, we prepared checks just to show them that this thing works, is real. It's not all the things you hear on outside there. Some of them are unfiltered information and all that. So we got there. And we are calling names. We had 50 people to pay claims that day. And we are paying and all that. And I noticed there was, those that their claims were paid. We are also doing some sort of guide to the people that suffered loss. And I had one young man in Onitsha and all that. He was just settled by his boss. And, in Onitsha, they do this kind of Eba boy kind of thing, which we call it. And all that. And he stocked up his shop, and the fire came and raised down, when the fire came. So he has to start life afresh. And the people that got their claim checks, we are telling him, if you had done this, you will not. So you find out that there is this gap in the industry. What will drive your profitability, your volumes, is, the trust your customers have in you. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Charles, for speaking to the issue around trust and the examples that you gave us, which I'm sure quite a number of us may have even seen, but hearing it firsthand, and when you hear the volumes and the value of money involved, it can quite, shake you. However, he did not speak to the claims that comes into their coffers in the billions and the trillions, the premium, which we pay, but it's okay. Charles, we'll come back to you. So, but it's just germane to understand that as you sow ahead for insurance in this particular situation, then you have something to fall back on. But for the customer experience part of it, the insurance industry is saying, you know what, we're building on trust. We want you to trust us and come and insure your property and your business. We're coming to a next level, which is, let me say, the other side of the insurance one, which is the regulator. Because remember that he spoke about regulation and how arbitration will come if they should fall short of meeting some of those claims. So we'll be going quickly to Shola to tell us her perspective of the customer experience stories and how you think, one, the financial institutions have been able to bridge that gap, because we're talking about building bridges today, and wherever there are gaps, what we need to do. And you have 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. I'll try. It's a whole lot of stuff to talk about. Like Charles said, I'm wearing 2 caps in this chair. I work with the regulator of sorts because I work with the tribunal, and we're the adjudicatory body for the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Act. The commission is the regulator. The tribunal is the adjudicatory body. So we deal with cases. People come and file matters before us that has to do with the act, and we adjudicate on it. But before this present role, my life has always been about consumer advocacy. It's about speaking for the average consumers. And I think in that my previous role, the sector that I had the most contention with was the banking sector. A few of you know me from all the trouble I have caused with the banking sector. But we're talking about trust. And I'm glad that Charles identified that the foundation of any kind of relationship in the marketplace with financial institutions is trust. Banks are no exception. Neither is pension schemes and finance. Everybody in this sector, trust is so core. And I need to speak first for the regulator. I need to reassure the sector participants or stakeholders that there is no regulator in Nigeria whose aim is to hinder you from doing business or is to pull you down. Because I get this resistance from a whole lot of private sector players that the regulator, they're always bringing regulation, they want to hinder us, they want to do this. That's not the aim of any regulator.